Heal up. Heal up. Healing boost. Oh, I like the sound of that. Ooh, I must have this track on repeat. Repeat. Oh, you hear that? You hear that? Oh, let's break it down. Oh, let's break it down. Oh, let's break it. Break it. Break it. Break it down. Let's drop the beat. Beat. Let's get you healed up. Let's get you healed up. Healed up. Yeah. Healed up. Yeah, let's move it, people. Yeah, let's move it, people. Yeah, let's pick it up. Lucio coming at you. Coming at you. Yeah, time to heal up. Oh, turn it up. Turn it up. Turn it up. Turn it up in my headphones. My headphones. Turn it up in my headphones. Audio medic. Audio medic. Audio medic. Move to the beat. Boost. Boost. Oh, this is my jam. Time to accelerate. Alright, it's 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. F it up. Oh, I'm in the groove. Back in the mix. Check yourself. Oh, feel that healing beat. All right, heal up. Heal up. Heal up. Heal up. Healing boost. Oh, I like the sound of that. Ooh, I must have this track on repeat. Repeat. Oh, you hear that? You hear that? Oh, let's break it down. Oh, let's break it down. Oh, let's break it. Break it. Break it. Break it down. Let's drop the beat. Beat. Let's get you healed up. Let's get you healed up. Healed up. Yeah. Healed. Healed up. Yeah, let's move it, people. Yeah, let's move it, people. Yeah, let's pick it up. Lucio coming at you. Coming at you. Yeah, time to heal up. Oh, turn it up. Up. Turn it up. Turn it up. Turn it up in my headphones. My headphones. Turn it up in my headphones. Audio medic. Audio medic. Audio medic.
Fucking dope ass intro.
And we are live with another episode of Off the Wall. It's your boy Dazzle167, powered by CGL Console Gaming League. And today, nobody, absolutely nobody, can complain about this guest because he'll probably come for you. So make sure that you don't do that. I have the one and only Dexento. Dex, how you doing, brother?
Good to be on the show.
Good.
Been wanting to do it for a while.
I you know, it's funny too because like I met you a while ago too, and I think one of the things was like you were talking about, I was like, oh well, I don't have like the camera or whatever, and I was like, well, we'll do it at some point. We'll get you in, and then it just so happens that at last minute, you know, my other guests had to like, you know, bail on me, and I was like, Dex, let's do this. Let's give the people what they want. They want some Dex. Let's give them what they want. So
Yeah, the stars aligned. So I'm ready.
hell yeah, dude. Well, listen, we got a lot to talk about because I feel like there's a lot of people in this community who have done a lot of stuff, but you've been around for a long time and you've been relevant for a long time. So let's talk about some of that. Let's go way back though, to the very beginning. Let's talk about your gaming origin. What did you start to play? What platforms did you start to play? What games were you playing back in the day?
I've been playing since I was a little kid. Like, my uncles just like put a console in front of me, like, for as long as I can remember. The first games I can remember playing is like on the original Xbox. I play like Fusion Frenzy and James Bond, Nightfire, and of course the Halos and stuff. And I got real sucked in with the Halo games. Like, it was my shit. So like the majority of my gaming career is all Halo.
Nice. I mean, I'm sure that's definitely something that that a lot of people have said so far. I think Overwatch brings like certain type of people who, you know, play certain games, but I feel like there's two different camps. There are the people who come from like FPSs, or there's people who come from like straight strategy games, right? And like you could tell kind of what people are gonna eventually start playing or what type of role they play based on that type of stuff. But it's good to see. Let me ask you this. What made you interested in Overwatch for the first time? What led you on to get Overwatch for the first time? And who did you start playing at first?
So I got into it from a friend from school. He was talking about the game, and I wasn't really like into the look of the game. It seemed a little too cartoony for my taste. Again, I was just playing Call of Duty and Halo the whole time. So when I looked at that game, I was like, we game shared. I tried it for a little bit. I played only quick play, hated it, didn't touch it again. I played it a little bit, got like 10 levels, never touched it again. And then a couple months later, I was really bored. I think the Halo servers were down, so I just started playing. I got into it, and I didn't even pick up Lucio for a while. I did not play Lucio for a long time. I was really into, I just played Halo, I was into Soldier, since it was really straightforward, and Roadhog was broken as hell. I got the game in like season 3, so Roadhog was very broken. So it was just Roadhog, Soldier, and I fell in love with Junkrat, and I just did those 3 for a while. And then I just started playing Lucio out of nowhere. I was playing Mystery Heroes, and I just really loved him. Like, you could just go so fast, and I liked the mobility of it, and he was just fun to play. I could just chill and play and actually contribute.
And
So
was that like pre? I mean, I think that wasn't that like pre Lucio buff, like back when he just needed to
yeah, when
exist.
his aura was huge, I was
Yeah.
so when he got that rework, I couldn't get my hands off him. He was amazing. So I just kept on playing Lucio, grinded it out. I stuck with like a group of friends who were like IRL friends, season three, and I just played with them the whole time. Like chilled in
Okay.
like and diamond. I was happy. But they started like getting bored of the game and I just started solo queuing and I climbed up. And season three, just played with them, like plat, and then I solo queued and I hit GM the next season.
Nice, nice. And that's actually really interesting. It's funny because like I think that transition between the character when Lucio was just like basically existing, right? And then getting his speed boost. Like what part of that transition for you was like monumental for like you as a player?
I just really liked how much you could do with him in a team aspect because there's
Okay.
a lot of heroes where you can pick up the hero and yeah, you're gonna help your team, but for the most part, it's a lot of just solo mechanical performance. But Lucio, if I see someone messing up, I can literally speed them out. I can help them out. So I just kind of like that. You can like
Nice.
literally just help everyone out with that one hero, and all the other supports seem very restricted. Zen, like it doesn't matter. Like if they have a good flanker, I'm fucked. I can't kill a good Genji.
Nice. Well, we're gonna talk more about Lucio, specifically like your game style and or your play style and how you use the character. But let's go. Let's talk about something different. I think that a lot of people know you because for a better part of your Overwatch history, you're part of probably one of the most prolific teams on Xbox. And I even knew about this team as like a platinum and diamond, like when I just like was watching tournaments and even competing in some of them just for fun. Like I knew about season the season 7 kids. I was like it was a type of team that you saw and you're like, oh, okay, here we go. So tell us a little bit of origin about that team.
Okay, so I guess the major theme, and I guess it's in the name of the team, the season seven kids, was that basically everyone on the team, excluding Aspire Leo, was for the most part a no name coming into season six and seven. Like they played ladder, they were good, but they were never relevant, and a lot of them felt underrepresented. And I think we may have taken it a little too far when it came to like wanting to get known, and we kind of started a lot of beef with players for just the fun of it, and it got out of hand. I definitely regret some of it, but we just kind of like started going back and forth and starting fights just because we were bored on Twitter, and it started turning into like us just stacking a lot together. We were close friends, and then other people reasonably got very mad that we were shit talking and we were no names to the community. And like a team was composed of a couple older players like Vinny and United Kills and all of them, and they challenged us to like a show match. And yeah, we're shitting our pants because these people are who we look up to, and no one knows who we are. And even though we were confident in our own abilities, we were huge underdogs going into that show match. And we ended up 4-0ing them. And it was that just kind of started the team.
Sure.
And we didn't even have a team name at that point, but we were just known. Like people use the slur season seven kid
Yeah.
as like you were never good, and the only reason you're good now is because it's later in the seasons and all the good players left. So just use that like slur as motivation, and we made that the team name.
Which is funny
And
because I think that still goes on today. I mean, people still say
yeah,
that every season. Every season there's like, that term.
and yeah, like a lot of the people on that team, like now they're household names, but back then, like they really weren't that known at all. JTA, Zero Midnight, like they played comp. You would see them in your games, but they weren't the big names like Vinny or United or any of them. Not even close. So we got our opportunity to compete against people we looked up to. And granted, we started the match like the whole reason it happened was shit talking, and it was it wasn't the cleanest. Like, kind of cringe. But now that it's all over, we just kind of stuck together. Like, we're all still good friends. We still talk. Most of us are still in the same CGL team, and we just played from like season 7 to 10, like every tournament. We never dropped the map. And then the very last team we played, we all knew it was going to be like the last game because everyone was going to their separate friend groups. Some people were thinking about quitting Overwatch. And then we ended up reverse sweeping like a really, really good team with Nano, Vinny, Mac. It was fun. And then we just ended it there. And we still hang out to this day. We had a good legacy. But
that's really cool, though. I mean, you essentially you retired the team itself on a high note, right? And,
yeah,
and I mean, you had a legacy of winning, and then you went out while on top. I mean, what better way to do that? You know, cement yourself on that. Let's go back to some of your Lucio gameplay. I think that when people go on Twitter or people look for some of the best players in their hero, and people ask, you know, who are some of the best Lucios, especially like on apps like Curious Cat and stuff like that. When you hear people talk about Lucios, your name is always mentioned. At least from what I've seen, it's got to be like a 90% of the time. I mean, you always get like the people like you know, I hear Gerard, I hear you know, Chrissy, I hear O'Plums, I hear Lunch Table or Lunch Tabby, right? and you know, we hear a lot of those names, but I feel like yours is one of the most you know, the people recognize you the most. Why do you think that is? What makes your Lucio so much different than everyone else's?
I think like gameplay wise, just like the style I play him. A lot of people they go for like the crazy flashy stuff, but I think as Tetsa kind of proved, Tetsa was never like the crazy mechanical player. But the reason he works so well in teams and how he excelled is that he can just play the hero and he can make sure everyone's on the same page and he's really good at managing everything. And I feel like that's where my style of play kind of goes in. It's a lot of micromanaging. I'm not going to go for the crazy kills. You're never going to see me light up a feed, but I'm going to make sure that my tanks have way more space than the other tanks do. I'm going to make sure my diva has help on the high ground, making sure we just have high ground control, everything, and just making sure everyone's on the same page, trying to manage everything. So some Lucios are going for the big plays. I like to manage everything. So it's a play manager.
And I think that's the thing too. But like more so than that, like I feel like there's a balance, right? Because I've seen some of your gameplay, I've seen some of your streams and some of your tournament stuff, and you pick your spots, right? Because you're really good at managing certain aspects of the game. You're really good at like kind of like controlling your team at one point, but you also pick your spots on where to be aggressive as well. Like I feel like you do that really well, where you kind of balance it out. You're like, I need to be aggressive, and I have the capability to do that, and you'll do it. But you won't do it often enough where it's frivolous. You do it when you need to.
Yeah, a big component about Lucio, if you want to climb and you want to be good, like, yes, you need to make those big plays, you need to get the kills, but it's not about forcing it. You need to wait until you see an opportunity. Then you can use your amp and go for the kill if you see someone out of position or you need to make some space. But if you try to force it, you're probably going to get punished in a team aspect. But if you wait and you're patient and then you see an opening, that's when you can go for it and it looks better. You're going to get punished a lot less. So it's all about being opportunistic.
Absolutely. Speaking of your gameplay, we have a clip here from your Twitter feed line that we're going to show just to show a little bit about Dex himself. Most people probably already know, but we'll show it so that other people can see. Let's check this out.
Yeah, that's me and Chrissy.
All right, so
Had
here's
the flare at the end.
here's my favorite part about that clip. Here's my favorite part about that clip is that once you killed him, right? You went on his body, you teabagged him, and you amped it up on speed while you were like 40 health. And you didn't bother healing yourself. You just sped it and then teabagged, and then right at the end of the amp, you're like, oh yeah, I gotta switch to heals. That's probably my favorite part because I don't know if it was meant to be a BM, but that's what the way it looked like.
No, Chrissy's a nut, man. We always go back and forth, especially with 1v1s. He's insane. Like,
Yeah, no, and that's what
insane.
that's what's cool about it. That's what's cool about the clip is that Chrissy's no slouch. Like he's a legit really good Lucio, and your battles have always been really great. I mean, just like you have that post, obviously Chrissy has some as well on his timeline.
I was gonna say, like, most people would get butthurt if I like posted a clip like that, but the reason I clipped that one is because I know Chrissy, he's gonna kill me somewhere in the future, and he's gonna give me back. It's my turn right now. Just gotta wait for you up.
Absolutely. So Chrissy definitely has some clips on his timeline as well. So absolutely, and it's always good to see. I feel like the Lucios that can do that, that have that capability, even if like obviously your play style is a little more reserved and more of a manager of the team, but but it's cool to see that it's a balanced enough where you can do one or the other, right? Like you can be aggressive and you can also stick with your team and just be a lot more like that. Let's talk about patch changes, because one of the biggest things that I know about you from the moment I met you is that you were a fan of goats, and I think I love it. And here's the thing, I think you like it for the same reason I do. I think I like goats the same way because I feel like as a Lucio you have a lot of control in goats, right? You kind of like you're the team manager, and in goats Lucio's kind of like the conductor, right? He kind of conducts the goats to engage, disengage, and whatnot. As Blizzard's trying to change a few things in order for it to balance out so the goats is not as dominant as before. What do you feel like comp is like now? Do you feel like goats is dead? Do you feel like they still have a place? What do you think based on your games that you've been playing? What's goats like now?
So at least on ladder, it's basically non-existent. I never see people run it anymore. Okay. And if people do run it, it's very slim. Like, it's a very slim chance it's gonna. But I feel like it can still be run in a good amount of scenarios. But when it comes to ladder, people are sick of it. It's been like 3 seasons of goats, 2 seasons of goats. People are sick of it. And that's totally understandable. And I'm not going to lie, I have no idea where this meta is going to shift to, because typically we look to pros to kind of dictate what's going to happen in the future, because they put the most work into figuring out what works. And since there is no like Overwatch League on current patch, I don't know. Like, I really don't know. With Baptiste coming in, he's such a dynamic hero, anything's possible. He may strengthen goats and replace one of the current supports and make it a lot stronger. He may be a huge component to bunker and cancel it out. He may be a part of dive. I have no idea. I have some people telling me Baptiste is countered by dive, so maybe dive is going to be the next meta. I have some people telling me he's going to make goats stronger. Goats might be the next meta. I don't know. I'm just going to have to wait and see, because I'm honestly clueless.
Yeah, I mean, I think that but here's my question, because I feel like it's not necessarily that, like you were saying, I think GOAT still has a place, but I also was wondering do you think that it's more of like because the patches came through and because there was buffs to DPS characters, do you think it's more like, I want to play DPS, I don't care if GOATS is still good, like, I don't care, I just want to play DPS players because they got buffed and that's what I'm gonna play? Like, do you feel that's part of it as well? Because I always see, like, now I'm seeing like 3 or 4 DPSs per game.
Yeah, these are some dark, like, the past couple of seasons have been some dark times for the DPS mains, so they're finally coming out of their rock coming to the Rock and Link. They're gonna have fun again.
Yeah.
So
They're like, I don't want to play
I think they're
Zarya
just
anymore or
enjoying it.
Brig.
Like I think there haven't even been that many buffs to DPSs I can think of that have been that huge during these changes. I think the biggest change is not so much buffing of DPSs, but the hard nerfs on supports. Lucio and Zen got it hard. Like Lucio and Zen got real messed up on these nerfs. So I think triple support is not the go-to. Maybe again, I'm gonna have to wait to see what the pros pull out. But at least in ladder, people are sick of goats. Been long enough, and DPSs want to play DPS.
Sure. Let's talk about Lucio because you mentioned him taking the probably one of the biggest hits. You and me both play Lucio, fans of Lucio. Let's talk about how his kit and how specific his hit was. What are your thoughts on his nerf, and do you think it was necessary?
I definitely think the nerf was necessary.
Okay.
Like Lucio and Zen, you had to have at least one of them on your team. Lucio was crazy strong for a long time, so I do think he needed a nerf. But 20% for amp is way too much. I'd say 10 is pushing it, but I'd go with 10. 20 since that nerf, there is no point in amping speed. It feels the same.
Yeah.
So that hit Lucio hard. I feel like he's still going to be used a lot. Again, Baptiste may change things up, but for now, I still feel like Lucio is a solid pick. Maybe map conditional, but that nerf really hit him hard. That nerf to the amp speed,
Yeah.
it's endless. Like there's no point at amp speed.
So do
It's
you
a
think that the nerf was too much in this, like the nerf was needed but the nerf was too much?
definitely 20% is way too much. Should
What
have
do
gone
you
10.
so you okay, so you think it should have gone 10. I mean, I won't disagree with you because I feel like they nerfed it to the point where speed is useless now, at least amping it. I feel like that it is, even if you use it, is super situational. Like just to basically disengage is probably the best thing to do, or to shuttle somebody maybe. That's really the only time I would ever use speed now. I mean, I don't know about anybody else, but like, is there a situation where amping speed is possible or necessary?
I mean, if you're like trying to get out of a choke and they're running like some kind of bunker, it's better than amping speed, I guess. I guess you're gonna amp. I
Yeah,
mean, so I guess you're gonna amp speed. I guess you could do that, but if I'm in a team fight, I'd rather just if I'm gonna be on speed, I'm not gonna amp, and if I'm gonna amp, I'm gonna use heals so I can farm the beat faster. But amping speed, other than initiation, kind of feels useless. Even in initiation, it feels like nothing. It really feels like
yeah.
no it's at all.
And I find
I'm gonna use like a
myself.
if
No,
I'm
go
gonna
ahead, go
use
ahead.
like a 12-second cooldown,
Okay.
get a lot out of it.
Now I feel like amp now is, like you said, even engaging is kind of difficult with the amp speed. Is it more viable to sustain heals on amp now than engage with speed?
I think it's definitely conditional because
Okay.
if they're running Bastion, even if it's a small difference, you're trying to get your team out as fast as possible. So I'd say you'd still want to amp speed in that situation, but I'd say amping heals should be used a lot more often now. And even when Baptiste comes in, I feel like Lucia is still going to be a very popular pick because Lucia's got a very low skill floor, so you can pick him up and still do enough.
Sure.
Baptiste, if you pick up Baptiste in a top 500 lobby and you've never touched him, you're gonna lose your team the game. He's got
Yeah.
a high floor.
Yeah. I mean, I think he has a higher floor than Ana in some aspects
Like
because, I
I
mean,
have no idea.
I just I'm thinking of this in the for example, like Ana, you can shoot somebody, and even if you shoot your teammate by mistake, you're still healing them. But with
Yeah,
Baptiste, you either shoot or heal. You can't do both at the same time like Ana, and so you do have to pick and choose whether you're going to heal or and with other healers like Lucio, you could shoot and still have your aura. But it's so specific with Baptiste where you have to choose one or the other. There's not a lot of leeway. So Yeah, I mean that's my personal. What do you think of Baptiste in general now? Like I know you talked about him a little bit about his skill, the floor, but what do you think in general about his skill set? What does he bring to the support meta?
Like from the time I've been playing him, like obviously if I first touch a hero with a high skill floor, I'm not going to be good at him. But I'm playing him, and you can still do a whole lot for your team, even if you're not the greatest at him. So the fact that you can just pick him up and do a whole bunch, and I know his skill floor is very high, people are going to be doing some crazy creative stuff with him. I can already see it. People are going to like really do some cool stuff. I already know there's going to be some players out there and that are good at just flexing support that are going to be nasty on him. I can imagine like Harvey, Flaffy, and Aspire Leo being nuts on him. So I'm looking forward to that. He actually heals a lot more than I expected. I thought it was going to be like a Zen where like, I mean, the orb's nice, but
Yeah,
not that much compared to everyone else. But he heals a lot and he does a lot of damage. He's really strong. From the games I've played him, he's really
yeah.
strong. All
Well, he
gonna
feels like
be
a jack of all trades, right?
Yeah, I'd say the only like downfall of him is mobility. But if you have an invincibility shield or field or whatever,
Yeah.
does it matter?
I mean, and he also has the boots, which at least give him some mobility. Like he's not like fast or anything, but the exo boots. I mean, they allow you to do a little bit of getting high ground, and that's which is perfect for the character because his kit enables him to get high ground and shoot from afar, heal from afar very well. So I mean, in that aspect, his mobility is decent at the very least.
Yeah, it's definitely better than Anna. So he's got the upper hand there.
That's true. Let's talk about let's go back to some of we talked about your first team with the season 7. Let's talk about afterwards because I think that you still have become part of teams that have always been really great. So let's talk about units and reincarnate. Where did those teams come from? What's the origins on those?
So units actually has a funny story.
Okay.
Funny story and how it all came up because that was in a point in time where I basically quit Overwatch. I think it was the span of like 11 through 13 or something. I just stopped playing, but I still played Minecraft. I opened up a realm for the community, and everyone just kind of had fun playing on the realm. And some of the people I started talking to a lot was like Worth Shatter, Spree, Alien, and we all started talking. We were just friends on Minecraft, and we were talking about this Lame Sauce tournament that we just heard of, and we were just talking casually about it, and then Worth asks me to be on the team, and I'm like, hell yeah, sure. Like I'm already friends with all these people from Minecraft, and so that team was made in Minecraft.
That actually is really funny.
I was there at the right place in the right time, and
Nice.
just got invited, and it was fun. And I love units. Like we had a blast. We definitely got a lot better as a team too. And third place in the Lame Sauce tournament, I'll take it.
You know what? If somebody would have told me that units was created through Minecraft, I probably wouldn't have believed it. I would have been like, okay, that's weird. That's too weird. But the fact that it came like that's really cool. Tell us how that eventually was moved on to your newer team in CGL. What brought that up?
So so people were like back and forth. Some people in units wanted to bring the team to CGL. Some people didn't even want to do CGL, and the team kind of got split. So at first I thought like we weren't making a team. That's cool. So JTA and I started talking. He just won the Lame Sauce tournament, and his team is like going separate ways too. And he was on the season 7 kids, so we're still good friends. And he plans on making a new team with a couple of the other members of our older team, and now we have like a solid roster. And yeah, I think we're doing pretty well. We're first in the standings going into playoffs. I think that's pretty cool. And
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's
union because there's a lot, like more than half of the people from the original season 7 kids team. We're back on this reincarnate team, and like a
Nice.
reunion. It's fun. We're all chilling out, and we haven't played with each other on a team in forever. So we're doing it again. We're having a blast.
Nice. I mean, that's pretty cool. I think that's something that it definitely it's like a remix version of season 7, which is really cool to see. And it goes to show. I mean, you guys are at the first place standing. That's really awesome. You guys are doing really well. I've seen some of your games as well on CGL, and they're very impressive. I believe the one game I catch was the one against the Throne, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, that was a good one.
That was a very good one. I thought that was really good. Shout outs to Delir. Delir did a lot of work in
Yeah,
that
we
game.
definitely turned that team around because
Yeah.
it was week 1. We ended up playing Banditos, which is just the West Coast team, and they've been playing together forever. That team is stacked. And we went into that game with most of us never playing with each other ever. There was a lot of new people, or we haven't played with each other in forever. And ZR Midnight was high off his mind, and we went into that game and got 0-3'd, and everyone was bummed. Things were not looking good. And then we just like 3-0'd every single team afterwards, running just meme comps. And then we went against Throne, who we actually had not too much hope against. Like I thought we would actually lose that, but we ended up 3-0ing. It was cool, and that team is stacked too. But
Nice.
they were short Max Stanky, and he's the carry of that team. So I'm looking forward to see how the rematch is going to go in playoffs.
Oh, that's gonna be nice. Actually, I'm looking forward to that too as well because I think that's gonna be a good matchup. Somebody in chat actually mentioned a while back ago, and I just remembered it. That and it's one of the questions that I didn't have for you, but I think it's really cool, and I think we should definitely address it. The name Dexento. What's the origin on it?
Okay, so like I used to play Minecraft like a long time ago, and there was just this dude in the Minecraft community who had that username, and I thought it was really cool. So when I got the Xbox account, I just yanked it. Nothing creative, nothing cool about it. I saw someone else use the username, and I just took it.
Nice, nice. I know so a few people in chat were asking about it, so I thought I'd definitely ask that because I think that's a cool question. All right, so let's move to a different gear. So I wouldn't say recently, but a few weeks back, uh, there was a few things that people a lot of high elo players were vocal and critical about a lot of the stuff that went on in CGL. I think that like for the most part, most of it has already been discussed, but I wanted to hear from you because I know that you and some other players had a lot of concerns. What do you think is the CGL's biggest obstacle facing? Because I know that a few people have a big problem with them. But what do you think is their biggest issue or obstacle right now as far as like a league?
So I'd say there's like two main things, and the first one isn't really their fault.
Sure.
Something intrinsically wrong with what they try to do, and that was like leagues have been attempted many, many times in the past. They never work. People get bored. They're too long, and at this point in the game in season 15, there's not enough players that are super, super high up in top 500 to make that many good teams. So I'm telling you right now, in like the division we're in right now, there's basically 3 teams. Everyone else is just fodder. There's just West Coast, there's Throne, and there's Reincarnate. Everyone else is fodder, and it's not like it's bad. It's just there's not enough good teams. The skill gap between
Yeah.
200 and 4,500 is way bigger than people think, and it's hard to motivate players to just waste like 45 minutes of their day and just slaughter people. And it's not fun. Like you would think it would be fun in your head if you've never done it before, but it gets old. It's like playing against AIs in the range. There's a reason why no one does it. It's boring. People want to. It's not competitive. Tournaments, on
Sure.
the other hand, you have enough time to just compile a team, and it's one day, and you just play it out. And there's like multiple good teams that push it till the end. There was another good team that was made with mostly units players, and they also got bored enough to the where they just disbanded. So I'm honestly surprised the top three teams right now are still going because it's not just our team that's bored. I'm hearing
Yeah.
it West Coast and Throne. No one wants to play those games. It's a long season and there's no competition, so there's no point.
Gotcha. So basically, it's the people make up these teams that are not necessarily stacked, but I mean, in some cases, I mean, they are stacked in the sense that there's a lot of it that is like that. Like a lot of teams that group together with their friends and the community, the higher up community. I'm talking about top 100s, people in like 45 and above. Those guys. That type of community is very small, especially for those people who know each other and know that they're good, right? So there's only so much people that you can make a league out of that, right? So, what do you think is, what do you think is the challenge that, or not challenge, but I guess, what would you recommend in order to do? Would you just eliminate the idea of leagues itself? Because I know that at the beginning of Overwatch there was instead of a league, people, even for PC, I mean, there was just tournaments. There was just weekly, monthly tournaments. Do you think that's more of something that should be going on?
I can't speak for like the majority of the players at CGL because again, like I'm only speaking for one of the divisions and there's like four or five other ones. So maybe they have fun and their games are competitive every week. But like for like the top, I'd say 15%,
Yeah.
you're not entertain or satisfy that audience unless you do a tournament. People are just not going to be motivated to do a league. It's been attempted so many times. It doesn't work at the top level. It just doesn't. People aren't going to be motivated. So if you're like CGL has a lot of resources and a lot of talent to make a lot of good things happen. They just need to be a little more in touch. If they want to actually do things with the higher tier community, they got to be a little more in touch and more receptive and knowing that at this elo, there's just simply not enough good players to make a league fun. If you're gonna put the
Yeah.
resources to see the top players compete, has to be a tournament.
I do think that I did have conversations with Nips a while back, and he was mentioning to me off of stream that he definitely feels that concern, but he said if there would be some involvement from these high tier players, in the sense that like maybe like a liaison, um, that would be willing to help out with, listen, hey, here's our idea for our elo, then maybe things could be a little bit more better for CGL, because CGL, I feel like they want the same thing. They want it to be successful, and they also do kind of want to cater to the high elo. They just don't. I don't think they have the they don't have the mindset of high elo players. They just don't understand what the high elo players want, and I also do feel that in that same community, a lot of players don't really even know what they want. They're just like, oh, this is bad, I don't want to do this, and then that's it. They don't really have like a reason or something to give, beyond that. So just as a PSA, I guess I what I'm saying is I think people should definitely reach out to the CGL, because I think that's the only big disconnect, is that I think for things to change for CGL, high elo
Definitely, and if
players.
any, yeah, and if anything, just like I don't think there's a single person on their staff who like has been remotely close to like anywhere high
45, 46.
low. So
Yeah.
it's not that like they're doing it like in bad taste. They're just out of touch, and that's okay.
Yeah.
But I think they should get either like a communicator to kind of tell them what we might want, because us as a community, we already know what we want, and we're going to make it happen. There's a draft tomorrow, and there's going to
Yes.
be stacked teams. Everyone's talking about it. It's going to be fun. Us as a community, we didn't need an organization to set up anything fun or competitive.
Sure.
We all set this up, and it's going to be a blast. It's happened two times before, and this is going to be the third. It's going to be a blast.
Absolutely. And listen, now that's a perfect segue, because we're going to talk about that. The draft tournament. We spoke to Hayden Tracer on the show. I think it was like a week ago. it's hard for me to keep track of guests, to be honest. But I know I definitely interviewed him, and and we talked about the draft and how fun it was for a lot of people. I'm fairly new to the community itself, so I wasn't there when their other draft tournaments happened. So I feel like this is definitely going to be something new for me. I think that I had the idea in my mind where like, dude, draft tournaments sound like it would be awesome. And then once it was announced, I was like, oh, this is great, because I'm a huge fan of I love the NBA, and one of the biggest aspects of the NBA that I like is the draft. The draft, I will watch the draft. I'm one of those guys who will watch the draft. I'm like, oh, they picked this guy and they picked that. Oh, that's crazy, like. And I feel like for that emotion, for me to link that to Overwatch is awesome, because not even the OWL does that, So I think that that's gonna be a really cool thing for you guys to do. You had some spicy news, because you are one of the captains, and you actually have the second pick in the draft, correct?
Yes.
So you let me, before we talk about exactly the news about what you're going to be picking and stuff like that, or that type of stuff, tell me about what's your general mindset about building a team. What are you looking to build from? What type of personalities or skill sets are you looking for in the draft?
Okay, so how I kind of mentioned previously before, also just a footnote, Baptiste is going to be in this tournament. He's going to be in.
Ooh, that's huge, actually. That's huge.
I thought about, so now that Goats is kind of going his own way and Baptiste is coming in, I'm hearing from a lot of people that Dive kind of counters Baptiste. And if we can't get Baptiste down, I'd rather just have us have a solid idea of what we can do, and that's Dive. So the players I draft tomorrow night will be players that I know can excel in Dive comp. And I have the second overall pick, and I know who the person in front of me is going to pick. So I know I have the person I want locked down for the first round, and it's someone who I know dominates. It doesn't matter what elo it is or what meta it is.
Are you sure it's not a debate? Are you sure that person didn't say, "Oh, I'm going to pick this person because
no,
it's going to
I'm
be a
confident.
debate"?
Like, this is the person. No, like, I'm confident. Like, this person, in my opinion, is just straight up the best player playing right now.
Okay.
And so
wow,
tomorrow, my first round pick will be Doom Godoa.
Oh, okay. That's a good leak. That is spicy. All right. So why do you think that is your first pick? What about Doom do you think is going to bring to your team? I mean, obviously he's a great player. I think everybody knows that he's a great player. But what do you think he brings specifically to your team that's going to be an asset?
So the really unique thing about Doomed that I think no other player possesses this skill is that whichever way the meta shifts, he will always be able to play a hero he can carry on. If Goats is still a major component of the game, I can stick him on Diva and he's going to be like one of the best Divas in the entire tourney. If it turns out to be Dive, I can stick him on Tracer or Genji and he's going to carry the game. So he's so flexible, he can play everything. So it doesn't matter what way the meta shifts, he's going to be huge.
Interesting. Now, let me ask you this, because as a draft connoisseur, for like as somebody who likes to see drafts and analyze drafts, it seems to me that your overall strategy, because there's a meta shift at the moment where we don't know what's going to happen with Baptiste, how is he going to play, if Dive is going to counter him, if this is, there's so many variables. Is your plan to draft people who are just extremely flexible?
Yeah, I would definitely say that's a huge component, which is why for my first overall pick, being probably the most flexible player on Xbox right now, pretty good pick. And I think that's how we're going to work it around, because I don't want to like pick a team and then find out in a couple of weeks we have no idea how to play the next meta and we don't have the players to pull anything off. But I'm hoping the team I pick can work around whatever comp is meta when it rolls around in a couple of weeks.
Okay, no, that I can definitely see that. That sounds awesome. tell us what you know. Here's what I like to hear, because whenever I think about drafts, I don't just think about what I think, you know, who's gonna draft what and how and why they draft them. I also like to hear, what do you think people are gonna draft? Who from other captains? Like, you obviously you know what the number one pick is going to be, but from there on, what do you think other players are going to pick and why?
I feel like the captains of the team are going to pick a team that can be built around them. So, like
Okay.
as a Lucio, I can kind of work around whatever because Lucio is kind of in every meta. But I think dive kind of fits Lucio the best. But some of
Mm.
the captains, they're like Zarya mains. They're not going to pick a dive oriented team because they want to play. So say Sham, he's
Right.
not going to dive oriented teams. He's going to pick and probably General Carnage, and he's just going to jam the beam down your throat, and he's going to win it that way. Or if
Sure.
it's like Vinny, he can play basically anything. He can even play DPS. So it's a wild card. You don't know what he's going to run. Raft is a captain. He's probably going to run a dive oriented team as well. So I think it's going to be based around the captain.
Okay. Okay. Now, I haven't been in some of these drafts in the past. What can we expect from the stream itself? Because I believe Scary is streaming this, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So what would you, if I'm new, well, I am new. I am new to this draft, but for other people who may also be new to the draft, what do you think they can expect from this draft as far as content goes? What do you what how would you describe the draft to them?
So personally, I like the draft more than the actual games. It's just fun. It's really creative because you're going to see teams built with people who don't really play with each other. Like me personally, I don't think I've ever played with Doomed in a stack ever. So this gives me an
Oh,
opportunity to have to get to play with someone who I wouldn't typically play with. The last two drafts I played with players I didn't really play with. So you get to just experience lots of cool stuff and you get to see what captains pick and there's cool mixtures of teams and it's really exciting. And
oh.
uh, I know the last couple of times you could actually hear the party with all the captains, and there's always banter of people fighting over certain players. As I remember, I think it was the first or second one, like three or four captains were very aggressive about who was getting Gerard, and to hear that, so it's cool. You get to actually be a part of that.
That's yeah. No, that's awesome. I think that it's gonna be fun to watch. Obviously, people are gonna be excited to see who gets selected, but also not just that, but also just who how the selection is going to affect other people, because I think you mentioned as well as like there's not just banter, but like people also get upset like, oh, you picked this guy, I was gonna go pick this guy, and then all of a sudden this you picked
Yeah,
him.
and whenever the name is announced,
Yeah,
especially if it's like an anticipated player, you're
yeah.
gonna hear like people get mad simultaneously. If there's a player that everyone was kind of hoping to get and they get picked, you'll get to hear all of that. So
That's
if you want to hear all of that, just tune into Scary Stream tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Eastern, and it's gonna be fun.
awesome, dude. That sounds like a lot of fun. I can't wait to see that. I'm going to be definitely watching. So that's awesome. For sure. Well, listen, that's it, Dex. I think that's everything that I wanted to ask you. I think we definitely made good time on the podcast, and I think finally people can rest assured that I have picked good guests for this for today. So people can't complain as much as they have before. uh, but
But
listen,
I had a blast. This is great.
yeah, I'm glad you did. This is it's great to have you here. One other thing that I wanted to mention before we leave. Recently, you started streaming a lot more, because I know before you didn't stream as much. You just got yourself a capture card. Is that right?
Yeah, my internet's been whacked for a while. I used to stream and then I moved, and then in my new place I shit internet, but I kind of upgraded it. I bought an Elgato from Blood Dust, and I'm still trying to make Streamlabs work. That stuff is weird. I'm horrible with that program. So I got to make that work. But now it's starting to come along. Spring break is coming up. During the summer, I'm going to be doing it a lot for now, it's gonna be like a weekend thing or whenever I feel like doing it. But during the summer, I'll take it more seriously. And
Okay,
it's fun.
nice. That's awesome. My chat is Headrammer in the chat is asking me. Well, actually, somebody else is asking me. Does anyone know how many people are signed up for the draft? Is there? Do you have a number? Do you know? Because I know you aren't really like
I don't have an
organizing.
exact number, but I've seen the spreadsheet. It's over 100.
Ooh, interesting. Okay. Leaks from my part. I actually signed up as a meme because I feel like just having my name up there, I'd be like, hey, maybe somebody's making a meme team and wants me on there, so that it'll be fun
I
if it.
mean, not even just for a meme team. There's 8 teams and there's a minimum of 7 players and a max of 9. I think you can pick up. So
Yeah,
people are gonna need. There's a lot of teams and a lot of support players need to get picked up. So you
nice.
never know.
Listen, I'll be a sub for a very good Lucio. I'll tell that.
All right.
Sir JTA in the chat is asking him, "Am I on the team?" Ask if
And
I ask
gets
if I'm
off
on the team.
Destiny. He's on Destiny all the time. He ditched us all. He doesn't
You,
even play for a CGL team. He's too busy with
oh,
Destiny.
pow, shots fired. JTA, get on it. Get back on Overwatch. Leave the world of Destiny alone and come back. And then maybe they'll pick you for a team. All right, brother.
Look, if there's a Destiny draft, you're my first rounder.
Perfect, dude. Perfect. Listen, come up with some more questions, chat. If you have more questions, definitely let us know. Before we do that, any more questions, let me ask you this about your stream, because you mentioned how like you got the capture card. Do you plan on streaming more? And if you do stream, would you be kind enough to read your chat? Because sometimes I get on there and you're not reading the chat. I'm just saying.
Again, I'm still a rookie at it all. A lot of times I don't know how Blood does it because honestly, like he'll be playing the game and then he just reads it, or like any of the other streamers. Like I
Sure.
don't get how to do it. Like when I'm playing in the game, I'm zoned in. I'm locked in and I look at it until I die or something. And
Well, I can tell you
I'll
from.
definitely work on it.
Yeah, for sure. Because I think it's that's probably one of the biggest things. I think is just the attention to the chat. But I can tell you from personal. I mean, obviously, I don't think this counts for you, but personally, I can read chat because I'm not that great. So like sometimes I'll have downtime in my gameplay because I'm just not thinking about the game at the moment, so I'll just read chat and and just I know I'm not gonna be doing anything important at the time, so I'll just read chat real quick because
Yeah, I'd love to do that. I'm just paranoid. I look at the screen and it's like a curse. If I look at anything with my Xbox, I die. It's just I'm so paranoid about it.
nice. Well, hey, plug your stream, dude. Let us know what where can we find you on Twitch, because I feel like that's important, especially now that you're gonna be streaming a little bit more.
Yeah, for sure. Dexento OW on Twitch. Hit me up.
Dexento OW. Well, listen.
And I just got like some Moxie sub badges. We're gonna get in.
Ooh.
It's gonna be good.
Nice. Which, by the way, I haven't leaked this yet. This is actually another leak from the show. But Moxie will be on the show next week. All right.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking
So
about.
we will have Moxie on the show. We're gonna talk about her art and all of her awesome emotes and stuff like that. We'll definitely have her on. I know she's very big in the community, and I know that she's such a sweet person. Every time I've ever talked to her, even on her stream and stuff, she's just such an awesome person. So definitely looking forward to having her on and
Oh
going
yeah,
forward.
that's great. She was like a friend of Units and all this. She was like playing Minecraft and stuff, and it was before she got like huge with the emotes and everything. Now she's like a celebrity. When it comes to the community, she's doing like big streamer emotes and stuff, and everyone in the community, like all the big streamers, have her emote. She's a big shot now, but at least I knew her before she was famous. I'm happy about that.
Nice, nice. Well, I'm glad people can catch you also on Twitter. You're definitely very vocal there, so I'm sure that you can and you can post clips and stuff like that. People can watch you on Twitter. What's your Twitter handle so that people know?
Uh, Yeah, that's also Dexento OW, the Twitch and the Twitter.
Nice, nice. Well, good, man. That's about it, dude. I think that's everything. It's awesome to have you, Dex. Thank you for not only thank you for being on the show, but thank you for being so last minute. I'm glad that I was able to get you on, and we can finally talk about. I love having Lucio Mains on, and I always learn a lot about Lucio, and that definitely helps me personally. So I'm glad to
Yeah,
have
for
you
sure,
on, man.
man. Lucio Mains are the superior race.
There we go, dude. All right, man. Well,
Followed by
listen.
Junkrats.
Oh yes, definitely some love to the Junkrats too. We're gonna rate somebody. I'm just gonna pick somebody at random because I think that from my list, I think we have somebody. But that's it for the show, guys. If you have a question about being on the show, DM me, let me know. I will try to get you on at some point. So please come check us out next time. We'll talk to Moxie next week. And guys, I will see you then. Bye, guys.
See ya. Thank you.
All right, in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. F it up. Oh, I'm in the groove. Back in the mix. Check yourself. Oh, feel that healing beat.